The Battle of the Bulge was fought on the 25th of December 1945, and it remains one of the most famous battles in the Second World War. Thankfully, some footage was discovered thanks to Romano archives. The Battle of the Bulge, also known as the Ardennes Offensive, was a major German offensive campaign on the Western Front during World War II, which took place from December 16, 1944 to January 25, 1945. It was launched through the densely forested Ardennes region between Belgium and Luxembourg. The offensive was intended to stop Allied use of the Belgian port of Antwerp and to split the Allied lines, allowing the Germans to individually encircle and destroy the four Allied armies and force the Western Allies to negotiate a peace treaty in the Axis powers' favor. The Germans achieved a total surprise attack on the morning of December 16, 1944. Due to a combination of Allied overconfidence, preoccupation with Allied offensive plans elsewhere, and poor aerial reconnaissance due to bad weather. Allied forces eventually came to more than 700,000 men. From these, there were from 77,000 to more than 83,000 casualties, including at least 8,600 killed. The Bulge was the largest and bloodiest single battle fought by the United States in World War II. The supply lines were stretched extremely thin, and supplies were dangerously depleted. By December 1944, General Dwight D. Eisenhower and his staff decided to hold the Ardennes region primarily as a rest area for the U.S. First Army, with limited Allied operational objectives in the area. The Allies defended the Ardennes line very thinly, due to the favorable defensive terrain, a densely wooded highland with deep river valleys, and a rather thin road network, and because they had intelligence that the Wehrmacht was using the area across the German border as a rest and refit area for its own troops. Despite a lull along the front after the Scheldt battles, the German situation remained dire, while operations continued in the autumn, notably the Lorraine campaign and the Battle of Aachen. The strategic situation in the West had changed little. The Allies were slowly pushing towards Germany, but no decisive breakthrough was achieved. There were 96 Allied divisions at the front. One of the few advantages held by the German forces in November 1944 was that they were no longer defending all of Western Europe. Their front lines in the West had been considerably shortened by the Allied offensive and were much closer to the German heartland. Hitler felt that his mobile reserves allowed him to mount one major offensive. Although he realized nothing significant could be accomplished in the Eastern Front, he still believed an offensive against the Western Allies, whom he considered militarily inferior to the Red Army, would have some chances of success. In an indirect, secondary role, the 15th Army, under General Gustav Adolf von Zingen, recently brought back up to strength and re-equipped after heavy fighting during Operation Market Garden, was located just north of the Ardennes battlefield and tasked with holding U.S. forces in place with the possibility of launching its own attack given favorable conditions. Allied High Command considered Ardennes a quiet sector, relying on assessments from their intelligence services that the Germans were unable to launch any major offensive operations this late in the war.